Syncing. So we're back. Hello. Welcome to 40 Minutes Till Failure, where we have done this two times now. We have failed twice.
It's been 80 minutes of failure.
Yes, 80 minutes of unusable content.
You should show them a snippet of the last.
I will. We had a major echoing issue, but that should be resolved now. We have the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring on in the background.
Oh my goodness.
Stimulate something. I don't know. But I am your host, Elijah Minyard.
Yeah.
And what's your name? You're going to be hostile? Say your name.
Doesn't matter. I don't have a name.
Okay. Well, then know him as the guy who messed it up the second time. Earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
That was however many hours ago. But here we are once again, ready to have a conversation. Again. I said I'm not going to start the timer until we get a groove going.
Oh my goodness.
Because I don't want it to be the first 10 minutes being just silence and no idea.
Fellowship of the Ring, the opening's playing.
Yes.
It's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
One of the last great blockbusters, I think.
That's something we touched on earlier. This idea of, or we were just critiquing modern blockbusters, I guess. No, we didn't critique Spider-Man. We critiqued the most recent one, No Way Home. But we critiqued Homecoming and Far From Home and Star Wars, which is the other side of blockbusters, and the show counterparts of Star Wars and Marvel.
Yeah, it's the prologue, Fellowship of the Ring.
Yep.
It looks amazing.
Of course. We got it in 1080p HD for free on YouTube in 2012.
That was the
Google
best
Play
thing ever.
gave it to us for free for some reason.
Of all movies.
I know, and now we have it on YouTube forever.
Sauron just showed up to the battle.
Is this what we're doing?
I'll
just have it playing. I'll have a clip in the center at the bottom.
We'll just commentate over the first 40 minutes of the movie.
No, I will not do that.
Why not?
I don't want to talk about blockbusters again because we already did.
We complained for 40 minutes.
I can try to show some of that footage, but for the most part, it's going to be pretty unusable.
Should we retell the story of why we're doing this?
Oh yeah. Would you like to introduce that?
I've done it. Sing it 3 times.
Do it.
Dude, I've done it twice already.
You're gonna do it.
YouTuber Joel Haber had a challenge. If you want to figure out more about the challenge, look it up yourself.
No, you're going to talk about it. They need to know.
The challenge, or if you want to know the backstory for it, look it up yourself. But this challenge was...
The backstory is that he does videos every Oscars because he doesn't believe in watching the Oscars. So he's done things like watch me take a bath, watch me eat 2 pizzas, watch me call people and tell them I love them. But now this year he wanted to make it interactive because last year he made a movie. And now he wanted to make it with his audience. So each person has the challenge of making a 40-minute movie over the course of the Oscars with a week to edit.
There's 3 hours.
Yes.
So we tried to do that. I told my brother, I told my co-host about it.
Co-host. Mm-hmm.
I said we should try to do it.
You creating the distance.
I said we should try to do it. I said we should try to do it. And we tried to think. We tried to think of the ring exploded off in the river. We tried to think of things to do until finally we landed on a home invasion story.
Yes.
Except with a twist. See, there's someone in the house and someone's trying to get into the house. But when he finally gets into the house, it turns out that the person living there is actually a home invader in themselves.
Yes.
And they're just getting comfortable in the place before they rob it. They argue about what to do about each other until finally they decide, you know what?
Wait, are you going over the whole thing or are you just going to say up until we
stop? Just the basic synopsis.
Oh.
And they're going to decide.
Basic synopsis is half of the short.
And then they're gonna decide to help each other, or they're just gonna try to rob the place and split the difference.
Yes.
And yeah, we got all the way up to before they decide to rob the place.
I had just started pointing a gun at him. B-roll should be playing over this right now so that you can see.
Needs to get hurt.
And instead of genuinely breaking character,
Ah!
like, you know, like Joel Haver recommend, like if you break, it's okay. We were trying to laugh to fill in the awkward gaps,
It was horrible.
which was worse.
I'm robbing this place.
What?
Okay. You need to calm down. What are you doing here? What do you mean you're robbing this place?
That's worse.
That's sad.
Yeah.
That's sad to see.
Ah!
Because we always pick apart things that we watch. And so seeing ourselves do that felt like a betrayal of everything we stand for. Danny, I can see when it stops
Let's
recording.
hope it's not too dark. Well, actually,
No, it's fine. It creates a silhouette, I
That'll be
guess. A lining.
And yeah, yeah.
What do you regret about making that? I don't think I asked that before.
Regret about it?
Yeah, instead of what did
I
you
guess
gain?
I regret not picking something more simple, something that would be more easy to act without. Because we're trying to act as criminals, and we're not criminals, so we don't know how
I
to.
definitely could not act as a criminal.
So I don't know how to act as one.
You'll see.
You'll
see, viewers.
Shot of Frodo
Yep.
sitting up against a tree. One
Looks
of the
like
best.
a real tree.
It looks like a movie.
Looks like a real forest. No, it doesn't. Never mind.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. It looks like it could be fake.
The Shire.
I know.
60 years later. Amazing. Looks like a movie.
I know.
But yeah,
that's his main phrase. Maybe if we get popular, that'll be merch. Looks like a movie.
Yuck.
You can imagine it though.
Yuck.
Yeah.
It's a real forest.
Taste buds.
Nope. So then, we don't know how to act as criminals because we don't know the mind of one.
We're not criminals.
So yeah, my regret is us not Did you start the timer?
Oh, I guess I'll start it now.
Oh my goodness.
Should I set it for like 35 minutes?
Sure.
Okay. We are officially setting the timer to 35 instead of 40 because we've been talking for how long? We've been talking for 7 minutes and 52, so I'll set it to 32 minutes starting 3, 2, 1, boom. All right, 32 minutes to go.
Should I up it to ISO 400? Just because it got darker now.
Sure. He is adjusting my image. Hopefully. What are you doing?
There.
Is that too much?
No,
okay.
no.
Okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
You're at 1.7 400. Okay.
But so my biggest regret is not choosing something that would be easier for us to do.
Who do we have in our background today? That is our dad. Say hi, Dad.
Hi guys.
Oh gosh! Oh gosh!
We're talking about our regrets with the short film yesterday.
Oh really?
I regret saying yes.
Oh my gosh! Horrible.
I was just kidding.
I'm gonna close this so mosquitoes don't come in.
Okay.
Okay.
One of the biggest things was the fact that we only prepared the night before. We gave ourselves 3 days of preparation time and only used up a night. I think that's my biggest regret, not thinking of something sooner. I feel like we could have just stuck with our original idea, as what you said. Just one room like this. This can count. It's 40 minutes of content. It's something. I'll just compile what we have. 3 days of failure.
Maybe it should be that.
Yeah.
3 days of failure.
We failed making the short film because once we got to the pizza part, we just sat down and gave up. Then we forced ourselves to go in the garage.
We're technically meeting the criteria.
We are.
We're only doing it in 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But then technically, we're not.
We're not filming it on the day.
Well,
And we're doing multiple takes.
Yeah, it doesn't just. It's not the fact that it's because we could do it any day.
I'll submit him the other one, the echoing one.
We could do it any day, but it's the fact that we're like redoing it over the course of like 2 days.
2 days, yeah.
So it doesn't. We can't turn this
I'll
in.
submit the first one. That one was fun.
No.
Why? You can even see us like switching sides.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I'm not getting out of the chair.
Okay, this is the concept.
Move.
This is it.
Move your microphone thing.
This is happening. This is what we're doing with our lives right now. But yeah, I don't know. I suggested originally we should do it in one room because it would reduce all moving.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to follow. He didn't heed that
No,
advice.
that's not true. I suggested an alternative idea, and you said yes. You liked the idea.
So it's my fault because I said yes to another idea?
It means that you're equally accountable.
Okay, sure.
It is.
No.
It'd be like saying in the court of law, like in the court, like, oh, so you agreed to helping kill this person. And it's like, yes, but am I to blame just because I agreed and equally participated in the effort?
Okay.
You were there too. I have just as much footage of you as I do of me.
Like Gandalf arriving up on Bilbo's home.
Yep.
It's a
a
real
real
place.
horse.
Camera moves in,
Yeah.
and it looks amazing.
Not CGI.
No, not at all. There's nothing fake in these shots. It's all just what they did.
No admittance.
Everything that's in these shots
Like
is
how you're
what
not
the-
admitting to guilt in this situation. You messed up too. What do I regret?
Oh my god, you said this already.
I did? Oh. I kind of regret stopping, to be honest. I feel like we should have just stuck with it in hindsight.
No.
I feel like if we stuck with it, even if it was bad, it would have been funny to talk about. But then we wouldn't have had this 40 minutes till failure.
Oh.
We wouldn't have the
What the heck was that? Stop.
You do it too. Come on.
I'm not doing it.
Do it.
Nope.
40 minutes till failure.
No.
Do you want to say, since I asked this before, do you want to say what you've learned, what you've gained, a positive
What
out
I've
of this?
gained from this? I've learned to stay within my limits.
To say, what are those limits then?
Improvisation.
Yeah.
It's not. I guess. Well, I can't put that off completely. I think it's improvising as a criminal, something that I'm not used to acting like. Because if I'm supposed to improvise in a scene where there's more than two people, and it's
Yeah.
like a group of people,
Yeah.
and I'm supposed to just play person, I could probably do a okay job.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's just us and we're both trying to play criminals,
Yeah.
it ends up being horrible. I'm nervous about this because my audio could cut off at any second. So you gotta.
Well, I've been watching.
Okay, yeah,
It's
make sure.
fine.
You gotta make-
There we go. Now you have to do it.
It's recording again.
Yep.
Okay, just cut, Eli. Just cut. Okay.
I shouldn't say this, but one of my professors I am not a fan of because her question on a quiz that I took just the other day, I missed one out of 5. So an 80% for missing one question that is vague and unclear. That's the same thing, vague and unclear. And so I emailed the professor, and she finally got back to me today after like a week. And she's like, can you clarify what you're talking about? I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. And now she just sent me another thing without addressing my question. And I'm very upset right now. I have an 84 in that class because 3 quizzes now has she had questions that don't correlate with the answers. And she hasn't fixed any of them. And I'm curious what the other students are thinking. But it's asynchronous online. So I can't communicate with any of them. Maybe they'll watch this.
She's not gonna go past that point, but okay.
She's not going to watch this. She's old. I don't think she
Oh my
understands
goodness.
technology. That's why her
Okay.
quizzes are poorly made.
Yuck.
I'm leaving that in.
This
I don't.
this is an excuse to bash teachers.
Yes, it is. She can barely see my face.
Okay, Eli.
Don't say my name.
Yuck. Disgusting.
Oh my gosh. They're smoking
I know. Against a green screen, but
against the green
no,
screen.
not everything can
But
be
it's
real.
sparing.
It's 2000. It's 2000
I thought. Oh,
or 2001. When this come out?
I don't know.
It's 2001 because 2002 was the second one.
Space
Two
Odyssey.
Towers, 2002. I remember that.
Oh.
And then 2003, The Return of the King. My second favorite.
I mean, can you really say that Two Towers is like? I mean, you can't say that Two Towers is better than Return of the King. I think,
Because Two Towers has the battle at Helm's Deep, but
but
the third one has the Hobbit's journey, and which is like which is like pretty much the whole movie.
and like the most interesting part.
Yeah.
The
So-
Two Towers focuses on the wrong pair of hobbits. Merry and Pippin are the worst characters in that movie.
They're okay.
They are okay.
They're
but
better
that's
in the
it.
theatrical
The
cut.
thing is that they're okay, but that's all they are. I mean, they're cool in the third one. That's why, because in the third one, it rounds them off a little bit. It makes them more complex. We watched the first two in extended. That was like months ago. That was probably last year at this point.
Yeah.
So we haven't even watched the third one in extended. But it has some things I don't like, so I don't even care to watch it.
The extended editions are made for people who like the theatrical cut so much that they just want to see more.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's completely understandable why they just cut it out. It's because they don't add anything. It's just extra.
It's like bonus content in a pamphlet, in a booklet you get when you buy a special edition.
And a lot of
this is what happened.
And a lot of scenes are just them stopping for camps.
Yeah.
There's
There's a very specific shot.
My favorite shot of Frodo.
There's a very specific shot that has become one of our favorites in the Lord of the Rings franchise.
It's so unflattering.
Is it in Two Towers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to find
they're
it
in
if
like
I can.
they're in the swamp.
I think I'll find
And
it.
Frodo's slouching
His
on a
shins
rock.
look wide
And
like thick.
And his pants, because of the way he's sitting, his pants are going up to his knees, and it looks like he's wearing basketball shorts.
He just looks like
and he looks so just bored and
like a
disinterested.
regular guy on set sitting
funny.
down.
It's because no one wears shorts in these movies,
No.
so when it looks like he's wearing one, it looks really off-putting. It's kind of funny.
I don't know. It's just like no one watches this though. No one watches these movies.
No one cares about Lord of the Rings.
No
one. People care.
People care about
obviously.
Lord of the Rings, but it was 20 years ago.
It's just
22 years ago.
It's
when
just
this
not
came
a
out.
very vocal fan base.
Yeah.
But then
They're all on YouTube under titles. I think there's a channel called Nerd of the Rings.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, there's
That should
others.
tell you everything you need to know.
There's there's others like that, but when you talk about Lord of the Rings, back when I was in high school, someone was like, "Oh, you're not a nerd." Blah 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 blah. It's like everyone likes Star Wars. I was like, "Well, they're like, what else do you like?" I was like, "Lord of the Rings." They're like, "Oh." I was like, "What's that supposed to mean?"
Oh.
Why? Oh, that's very rude. I don't know.
It's because I think Lord of the Rings I think it's because of the fantasy element.
Mm-hmm.
It's tied closer to something like Dungeons and Dragons, just that kind
That's
of
true.
that kind of atmosphere.
I want to play Dungeons and Dragons still. I
Oh
still
my
have
God.
the starter.
That could be
kit.
one of the videos
That'd
of
be
us
a heck of a thing. If
playing
it-
Dungeons and
You
Dragons.
need a minimum, I think, of 4 people.
Oh,
So it could be me, you, Veronica, and someone else, and we're all just sitting here around the table,
Yuck.
just playing. That'd be funny, because you can make up everything yourself. You just have to play by the rules of the game.
that's so
You
silly.
make up your story.
It sounds fun.
It does.
It's just I've always associated Dungeons and Dragons with skinny, scrawny kids in glasses in the corner of the campus schoolyard for some reason.
Yeah.
That's always the image. You got a wide-angle lens on Bilbo's face.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. This sounds kind of full of itself, but I don't feel like we see a lot of wide-angle lens like
But we don't.
close-ups in movies anymore.
The only time we got that was in Squid Game, actually, when to make the characters look disoriented.
I don't remember.
There's the husband. Spoiler alert.
Oh my.
There's
my.
the husband whose wife had to die, and so then he's like, "We need to stop it." But then everyone's just like, "What are you talking about?" He was contestant number 69, remember? And he hangs
man.
himself.
I don't remember that.
And then, but yeah, they put a wide angle camera
I kinda
on,
remember
strapped on harness, and then he's like walking around. He looks disoriented, and it looked like wow.
Oh, when he lost his wife.
Mhm.
Was that after they played that game?
Yeah, that's a sad one.
The one where you had to like just cheat, like you just beat your opponent.
Yeah,
And that one was the most cruel.
yeah.
Because the other ones, it's like every man for himself kind
Mm-hmm.
of thing. Pretty much. But then that one, it's like choose someone.
It's usually teams or every man for
Yeah.
himself type thing.
But this one, it's like pick a partner before they even know what the game is. Pick a partner, and it's play whatever game you want. Whichever one loses, they die.
No, I think I get it now, actually. I never thought about this. In the beginning, it's teams. It's always going into teams. Like, in the beginning, it's the running by yourself and all that stuff. But after that, it's like, oh, let's form a team. And then it becomes a matter of strength, and then they all start killing each other. And then And then it has it to where you have to tear each other apart, literally with that scene where you just kill each other. And then that's where it becomes just like, now I know that no one is safe, even the people I team up with. So it's about me. So the next one after that is the jumping one on the glass, where it's literally you. Is that your phone?
Yeah.
Is that your friend?
No. It's not anymore.
Oh. But they do that to tear them apart to make them just by themselves. That makes sense now. I never thought about that.
It was the most despicable game. And then quick Squid Game
Was
tangent.
the most despicable of the games.
Quick Squid Game tangent though. The American actors, they
Regrettable.
I really liked the show. I liked it a lot.
Phrase it how you want to phrase it.
But when those Americans showed up, I absolutely hated the show. Like, it was the worst television program.
Don't confuse this with a nationalistic thing.
What?
It's not us because of how they represented the Americans. That's not it at all. It was the acting.
You didn't have to bring that up.
Some might interpret it that way.
Who's gonna watch this?
The
thing?
3 viewers who watch it might get confused.
No. Anyway,
Mom and Dad.
it has nothing to do with that. It's just the fact that the acting sucks, and the writing.
Yeah.
The writing just dropped. Like, what was that about?
See, I'm a bit confused now because I heard some things where it's like he did that on purpose, and then I read other things from one of the actors that said we had to use Google Translate for our scripts. We didn't know what to do. So so I don't know what's the correct one. I'm gonna lean more towards they didn't know what to do, but I feel like they could have had one person on set reviewing what was going on and just giving them like, try that a bit differently. Let's go another nuanced take. Is that the scooter kid?
No.
Oh.
Maybe in the native language, their lines were more articulate. But
Even
and then
the
Google
lines themselves are
Translate
bad.
just kind of like made it basic, but still the writing quality dropped.
Oh, I wonder if
It is
it is
horrible.
the translate thing, because apparently the subtitles for Squid Game, a lot of them are wrong. So, like, apparently if you know Korean, they're not saying a lot of what the subtitles are, the Americanized version of their phrasing sometimes. So like they'll say like something that it's native to that culture where they'll understand that phrase. So it's like, what does that mean to an American? So this is the American translation of it. So I wonder if that's what it was. Or he wrote it poorly on purpose and messed up his whole show at the end.
Yeah.
I keep eyeing that to make sure it's not cutting off.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
before I didn't pay attention and it still did it fine.
You got to keep looking at it. Yeah.
Bilbo's leaving.
I
We
forgot.
missed
I forgot
the
to
scene.
address the part where you jumps
I wanted
the ring.
to see the ring
where,
part.
You can rewind it.
No,
Where he. Yeah,
we're
just
going to
keep
leave
going.
it going.
He drops. He doesn't put the ring down. He lets it fall out of his hand because he can't even put it down. He lets it fall out of his hand.
And
it
even
just-
then, it's like sticking a little
and
bit.
then it just lands, and it doesn't. It just.
Because
It just lands. Yeah, it's
The
and then
weight finally off of his hand.
Gandalf tries to touch the ring. That shot is famous.
Wow, wow.
Yeah,
That's
close above the eye.
Is that Rocket? Or is okay?
It's
Yeah.
rocket. Fire. He's sitting at the fire with his
Yeah.
pipe.
He's smoking. Shouldn't smoke inside.
Frodo's about to walk in.
Yeah. Okay. No more narrating.
Sees the ring on the
Fellowship of the Ring.
floor.
Which, if you compare the visuals between Fellowship of the Ring and Two Towers and Return of the King, Fellowship of the Ring, you already know. We've talked about this. But like, even this looks better than all of the other movies.
Fellowship, it looks better than the other two because I think with the other two they had a lot more digital sets and not digital sets but much more like digital backgrounds, and I think they relied more on it for their big scale because there's a lot more battle in the second and
You
third,
need giant
especially the
places.
third.
Yeah.
The third one is just battle.
Cut.
As I was
Yay.
saying, the third one is out of the three, the third one is just battle. So, or it's pretty much just battle. So
Battle of Five Armies.
there's a lot more digital backgrounds in it, and overall the quality.
Do we
kinda
want to
dropped.
talk about The Hobbit?
I've never even seen the first one in full.
I
Never watched the full thing.
think it's the best looking one. Interestingly, the first Hobbit's the best looking one because I remember there being more shadows than the second and third. Because the second and third, I don't know what they were thinking, but that bloom effect,
Ugh.
that fake digital bloom, was.
Horrible.
I just think about when the Elf King, Legolas's dad, and Bowman were standing there looking up at the dwarves at the entrance, and it's just this fake gray animated background while they're like trying to talk, and he's riding on his moose thing.
In the third one?
In the third one.
Oh, yeah.
I remember just seeing
Oh!
how bad it...
The shot of the tower, it's not Isengard, but it's just a close-up tower. Camera's moving over it. But then it reveals that it's just one of many towers around a big giant tower.
I think this is what we need to do. We need to have
Is that the Eye of
thing
Sauron?
on.
Or no? Is
Huh?
that just like a base?
No, I think that is the Eye of Sauron.
Oh.
I could be wrong.
Baggins!
Yeah. And then here, there we go.
They come out of the
I have to have the shots now.
They come out of the Emerald Building. It
Yep.
is the best shot of the movie.
That is called Minas Morgul, which was originally Minas...
That's a great shot.
It's in Shadow of War, which is not technically canon, so I don't know if it was technically Minas something.
Minas Tirith?
No, Minas Tirith is Gondor.
Oh.
Well, Gondor's the region. Minas Tirith is the specific castle.
It's
Just like
too
how
much to know.
Sacramento's the capital of California.
Yeah.
And then there's the Capitol building.
Um,
We're not going to keep talking about this.
Yeah.
Let's
What
talk
were we
about The
saying?
Hobbit. The second one was cool with some things. It's kind of inspiring a new story of mine, but I don't want to get into it here because I don't need that stolen.
It's second one has cool interactions between Bilbo and a dragon.
Yeah.
That's about all you need to know about that one.
Benedict Cumberbatch doing his thing.
Benedict Cumberbatch,
I'm sorry.
he's an okay actor, but his voice acting, it all sounds the same when he tries to sound like evil. No matter what voices he tries to make, it still just sounds like Benedict Cumberbatch.
I can see
trying
his
to make-
face
Yeah.
like doing it.
Like
Ow. That's from No Way Home.
Like
we
I'm
were
think-
talking about that the second time.
I'm thinking Andy Serkis when he talks as Gollum.
I don't hear Andy
You
Serkis.
kind of hear it, but it sounds so different than
It's a
say.
unique voice.
It sounds so different than say Koba. I mean Caesar. Those are two completely different
And then
sides of a spectrum.
Somehow he plays King Kong in the Peter Jackson King Kong.
Yeah, he mocaps just the movements.
Oh, he mocaps.
Oh.
For some reason, I thought he was doing the sounds.
Shia Baggins.
Do it closer to the microphone.
No,
Yeah.
it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do it.
Their version of the Nazgul, or the Dark Riders, as more people know them, in the movies is significantly better than the books. I haven't read all three. I only read Fellowship of the Ring because that writing style is too archaic for me at this point. But the Nazgul in that, like, speak and announce things. In this, they're quiet. Except for one scene where it's bad.
Yeah.
But this movie's so good. And not enough people talk about it because everyone's talking about... What are people talking about besides the Will Smith thing now?
Well, there's the show coming out. And
Show? Oh,
The Lord of the Rings.
I already forgot about
The
it.
Rings of Power, baby.
Yeah, the Rings of Power.
The Amazon exclusive TV show.
I directly said, I bet the show's going to be about the Rings of Power being made. And then Danny sent me the announcement title saying it's called The Rings of Power. I was like, cool. And we have our theories of what it directly is going to be about, even though they release the synopsis. And anything that they do is not going to be as good as we thought of.
Oh my gosh, you don't know that.
Well, we knew that with the Batman.
So the trailer came out, and we watched the trailer, and it's a hard thing to break down because the movies, they just look so like
Movies.
real
They look like movies.
because they're like
Catchphrase.
because of just like
Trademark
the
pending.
look of the movies, just visually, it all looks very grounded and like real, even though it's like a big fantasy tale. But it all looks really good. And then it's not just because it was shot on film, even though that helps build some of that texture, but also just like
The amount of sets.
Just the look and the effort that went into just the sets. It looks great.
I also take the acting seriously.
I think the film shot on film, I think that also helps a lot. And just the way it was made, like camera rigs and stuff like that, and it wasn't drone shots, it was helicopter shots, so it still has that feel of like that energy to it.
You have the energy they do when they're going.
Yeah, and then but then with the show, even just from the glimpse, clean 4K digital cameras, it looks so crisp that you see. It's a weird thing with digital cameras. It's a weird thing how it makes.
It's a wonderful thing.
Digital cameras, it seems to it makes things look like
too sharp.
It makes things look so everything looks very clean and it looks very.
Say an example then. Related to the people.
There's this Western movie that came out recently on Netflix
I feel like I know what
with
you're
Idris
talking about.
Elba. He plays like a bad guy.
With Idris Elba.
And it's a guy from Loki or something. He's like the main guy. It's a Western shot on a digital camera, and it looks like people.
I know what you're talking about.
And it looks like people in costumes.
We've talked about that where digital, whenever it's something that's supposed to be a period piece or something that takes place before the modern era, if it's digital, it looks fake.
It looks
it looks like people LARPing.
It looks like people in costumes.
We talked about that, and all of a sudden on YouTube there was a scene from Vikings recommended, and I was like, oh, I want to see. So I clicked it, and I was like, this looks kind of ridiculous.
And then you even compare it to the Magnificent Seven, which came out
I don't even remember.
When year is that? 2016.
I don't know.
Denzel Washington.
I know.
That was shot on film, and it looks like appropriate, because of the film, that texture. I think it's because old movies were shot on film we only started shooting digital for in the last 10 years primarily. It was always film before that. Before 2010, it was majority film, and it always was.
It was always a standout thing. It was like, this movie shot all digital.
So then when you see a film...
But now it's a big thing of this thing's shot all film.
So when the film was always how it looked, so especially with Westerns and that dirty, grungy look.
What was digital? Oh, no, what was Eternals filmed on?
It's all digital. Marvel shoots all digital.
I thought they said that they were going to do that 16 millimeter.
That must have been a lie.
They probably were like, this is too much. I want to just hit record and replace the SD card.
It was, so everything's digital, and it's nice when they put in, texture and stuff in post, because it just makes it look kind of neat.
Because it makes it look like film?
Yeah, when that's why they try to replicate film, is because it has a look to it.
Roger Deakins.
Oh my goodness.
I wish I could meet you someday
to
ask you how you do it. I like to consider myself a fan of yours.
Anyway,
you make digital look perfect. You are the epitome of digital perfection.
He somehow uses the lack of texture and makes it look like unique.
Gross reality.
It has its own texture.
It looks like a reality that I don't want to be in.
But 4K digital cameras. I'm thinking the most recent example, Shang-Chi.
Oh.
It's just the movies. It's all digital, and there's absolutely no texture, so everything just looks very it looks like a behind-the-scenes video.
I'll have clips to show reference of differences between different movies, ones that are shot on film and digital, so that they can see that there really is a difference. That it's getting worse.
With old movies that were shot on film, they'd have the behind-the-scenes video shot on a digital camera, and it's just so apparent it looks all fake.
Yeah,
it almost looks like that.
Of the Lord of the Rings behind the scenes.
Yeah, it almost looks like all like that now. It's all digital, so it's it all looks like costumes, and no amount of color grading can always fix just that the fact that it just doesn't look right. And the new show, rounded all the way back to what we talked about. The new show, it has that.
You just went on a long rant there.
Yeah, the new show
You're really narrowing down our audience.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
The new show just has this clean look where it looks like everything else, and
it looks like a worse version of Game of Thrones. Honestly, Game of Thrones had sets for the most part. I just finished season 6 an hour ago. I watched the show before, but for the most part, that show didn't depend on CGI. A lot of the parts in season 1, they needed CGI for grand shots, but other than that, they filmed in sets. They had to tear down locations and build up new ones so that it could all fit towards their shots. And I've shown you some of those things before, and you saw them, and you saw that they were good looking because they worked with minimal lighting on purpose because that's how it would be in that type of era.
I guess.
And now, if I don't want to watch season 7, even though I already started it, because I know how bad it is and how bad the show honestly looks by the end of it. And as I say, how bad one thing looks, this movie just looks amazing.
Yeah, it's Frodo, Sam, and
silhouette.
Gandalf walking together in the forest.
Yep.
Real
Before
forest.
they part ways.
It just looks great. I don't know. I don't know. Something about digital cameras. Plus, it's because digital cameras are so sharp now that, well, there's two things. One, they're getting so good at filming in low light that
Make sure you don't narrow down our audience too much.
To what? Who is the audience we're even looking for?
I don't know. But, keep it to things that they can understand.
Okay, I'll say it in
because
simple
you've
terms.
already said a lot.
I'll say it in simple terms.
You went on a long spiel.
I'll say it in simple terms. Digital cameras are getting so good at filming in low light that the conspiracist part of my brain is saying, I think that the fact that they can film in any lighting condition is making them almost lazier in lighting scenes because
that's a fair
the camera
argument.
can just film it perfectly.
And it makes it look less believable because I feel like when you have controlled lighting in darker scenes, it's like this is how it looks because there's controlled lighting. They're working with the lighting. You have to start it. They're working with the lighting conditions that they are given and then modifying just a little bit versus their cameras, which is like these shadows are so lifted and all that stuff, and it looks like they're filming in the midday. And now they film night scenes during the day and just modify it. There are shots in Rings of Power where it looks like they shot it during the day and just changed it.
Oh, but then and then the second thing was because digital cameras are getting so sharp and they're capturing every single detail imaginable, while film cannot do that typically because sometimes film produces just softer images. You don't get all the fine details. But these 8K digital cameras that get every single grain of just everything on your T-shirt.
I hated that shot.
I feel like it's making it harder for VFX artists to blend VFX into the scenes because they have to be so meticulous with the texture work. While like Lord of the Rings, shot on film, film isn't as sharp as a digital camera.
This is not the best example of a scene.
Well, just as an example in general, so back then, when putting digital effects into these movies shot on film, they didn't have to be the sharpest things ever because they weren't going to see that amount of detail anyway.
We have 1 minute.
But now, because it's all digital...
You spent the last minute talking about this?
Because it's all digital, they have to put in every single amount of texture they possibly can, and because of it, and you can't do that with everything and make everything look fantastic, so it ends up just looking kind of weird.
I think you have dominated the conversation with a lot of technical film jargon.
It's good for the people to know this.
Is it?
It's time to wake up.
No, they're not going to wake up. They're going to fall asleep.
Become aware.
They're going to fall asleep listening to this.
Become aware of the system.
No.
Yes, there's...
No, they're not going to watch this because this is for different... This is a different audience now.
You're all sheep.
Hello, filmmakers.
You're all sheep. Wake up.
Stop it.
They need to see the truth and how things have gotten worse. Things can be better again. This now. Just look at movies before...
I'm going to look at the YouTube stats and it's going to drop at the halfway point.
Just look at movies before 2010.
You know what's interesting?
2010 and back.
This is a little... Oh, and it's too late. Bye.
What? That's it? Gosh!
You want to keep going?
What were you going to say? Just say it.
Okay, I'll just say it really quickly. It's interesting because you know the motion thing on TVs?
Yeah.
Most people have those still on.
Yeah.
They don't recognize that it's there because they're so used to the weird look of movies now that they think that just accompanies it. They're so not tuned to how movies should look that they'll accept terrible conditions like that. Because movies look so bad that their brains are tailored to it.
Wake up.
I turn it off on all of my friends' TVs. Whenever I'm there, I turn it off for them, and they don't even know. I did it at Kyle's house without his parents knowing. I did it at Uncle Patrick's, too, because it looked terrible.
Goodness. You need to wake up.
Wake up, people.
See the truth.
See the truth.
Things can look like how they did 10 years ago.
Things are worse than ever.
Yeah.
Movies are worse than ever. No, not all movies. We haven't seen them all. We're breaking our own rule. Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching.